Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at the altcoins market and we'll be diving deep into how you should choose your altcoins for the next cycle. I'll be showing you two important dashboards that will help you have a better understanding of the market. This will surely give you the edge when making future decisions and save you lots of headache for the next cycle. Talking about altcoin choices is important because although buying them might yield you a high return, it could also destroy your portfolio if done at the wrong time or with the wrong projects. So, altcoins haven't performed well in the past 18 months. We sure had a decent start of the year as we've seen several projects go up in value, but in reality most coins are still down between 80 to 95% from their all-time high. Being down at this rate might give the impression that we are near the bottom and that investing now is a good idea. As things have gotten better recently, we've seen lots of people chill several altcoins, most of which were the best altcoins of the previous cycle. Most influencers are only mentioning alt projects. They are telling you to buy Solana again after they bought at $200. They are telling you that you should invest in Matic again, in Cardano too, and that's what I truly want to talk about. I want to explain to you how altcoins generally perform in their second cycle, and you understand by the end if you should buy the alt projects or not. So, the first dashboard I want to go over displays 15 different altcoins. So what we did is we picked the top 15 projects in the past market cycle, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. These were perceived as the hottest thing back then. In other words, these were the Solana, the BNB, and the Matic of today. They were perceived as the best assets and the ones we talked about the most. If we look at the snapshot from December 2017, we can see that these were at the top. Bcash, LTC, Dash, and NEM were the largest projects by market cap. We recorded their 2017 to 2018 cycle peak as well as their cycle bottom, meaning the lowest price they've reached between 2017 and 2020, and we also recorded their 2021 peak. So we pretty much recorded the two highest levels they reached in two different cycles as well as the lowest price in between. We wanted to analyze two major aspects. The first thing is that if these altcoins manage to go up again, there is always the narrative that altcoins fade away and disappear, and I'm one of those who always say it. I wanted to see if the alt projects that were perceived as the best in the past cycle still gave a decent ROI in the future to make future decisions. Therefore, we calculated the bottom to top ROI. The second thing we calculated is the top to top return, meaning that we compare the previous cycle's top, the 2017 to 2018 peak, to 2021's peak to see if these altcoins have managed to outperform previous performances and if they managed to set a new all-time high. When we look at the top to top ROI in this dashboard, we clearly see that 12 out of the top 15 altcoins from the last cycle couldn't reach their peak again 3 years later. In fact, most of them didn't get anywhere near it. Bcash, for example, was still down over 61% from its all-time high when it reached its highest level in 2021. XRP was still down over 44% from its peak, and so were most other altcoins. The interesting part isn't that they didn't reach their peak again. I actually expected it. But how far away from previous peaks was shocking to me. I mean, being 10% away from a previous all-time high is a thing, but 60, 70 or 80% is another. That would imply that most buyers of the previous cycle couldn't sell for profits after waiting for 3 entire years. This is why I hate the idea of holding. I've always been against it. Imagine you bought one of these altcoins in the last cycle and you've waited 3 entire years thinking that you finally will be able to get rid of this bad investment at a profit or even at the same price you bought for, just to realize that it will never happen. This is the case with most projects and no one tells you about this. Every day you see influencers telling you that, hey, Solana reached $260 this cycle, and so it wouldn't be surprising if it reaches $1,000 by the peak of the next one. Or, hey, listen, Cardano went to $3 in 2021, and so it's a guaranteed $10 in 2025. They randomly throw these numbers at you that absolutely make no sense. This data simply tells you that it's really rare for an altcoin to exceed its peak in the next cycle. Only 3 out of the top 15 altcoins have managed to do so. And one of them didn't really surpass the previous peak by much. Monero XMR only went up 10% higher than its previous peak, which happened 3 years later. And so you can clearly see that most altcoins don't really exceed their first cycle's peak. Now, it's not only negative, and there is clearly a bright side here that we must talk about. That is, all of these altcoins went up again between 2020 and 2021, with many offering decent performances in the bull market. They sure didn't reach their summit again, but from bottom to top, many of these projects have gone up more than 20x. Bcash did a 20x from bottom to top, despite being far away from the peak. XRP did almost a 20x. ADA went up 150x. NEM went up 4,113%. Every single one of these projects went up, and that is no surprise because when Bitcoin goes up, altcoins follow it. And so the question that should be asked instead is, where's the bottom? Because once you buy near it, you're guaranteed an 8 to a 10x. Now, some of you might think, well, this only happened in the last cycle. Maybe the next one is different. And you can't tell me that Matic, Solana, BNB won't reach new peaks. And you might be right. I cannot prove it. But if we look at the second dashboard, which is similar to the first one but with a different time span, we see the same story. This dashboard displays the hottest projects in 2013 and how they performed later in 2017. These were the big till 10 years ago. The dashboard doesn't have as many altcoins as the one prior because it was really hard to collect the data as centralized exchanges weren't a thing back then. But look, we still have 8 out of the top 10 altcoins back then. This table shows that besides LTC and XRP, which are still with us today, the rest were far away from their 2013 peak in 2017. They sure went up too. In fact, two of these went up more than 100x from bottom to top, but overall they were still far away from previous all-time high. Not only that, but they are also unheard of today. They aren't even in the top 1000 projects by market cap anymore. PPC is down over 98% from its all-time high, of course. WorldCoin is down 99% from the peak, and so are the rest of the projects that were perceived as a big deal back then. This dashboard gives the same conclusion as the one prior to it. Altcoins do in fact go up when the bull market begins, regardless of how good they are. There is no doubt about that because at the end of the day, they follow Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes up, they'll go up. But them going up does not guarantee a new peak. Solana going up in the next cycle does not mean that it will reach $1,000. That doesn't give it a 1% chance of going there. I personally believe that Solana, for example, will give at least a 10x from its bottom. I said that in the last video, and so will Phantom and Harmony One and several other projects. But you telling me that a project you hold will triple its previous peak just because that's what you think is what I like to call delusion, and it won't happen. Most projects that will do 100x and the best in the future aren't even in the top 100 right now. They are the micro caps, projects with little volume and a small market cap. A few of those will be the hottest thing in the next year or two, in my opinion. So, the data clearly shows that the hottest things today are gone tomorrow. Projects that have yielded high return in the last cycle will most likely not exceed previous peaks. However, they will still yield a decent return, with most of them going up more than a 10x from bottom to top. If you're looking for a project that will do a 100x from here, which is truly rare, look far away from the top 100. That's all I can say. And again, these aren't my claims. This is what we concluded from the dashboards. I think it's time to think about accumulation, and I'll say this again. Corrections should be taken advantage of with all altcoins. So that was about it. This is my opinion on the altcoins market. As you can see, if you like the video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, comment down below your thoughts, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in another one. Bye bye.